I've been rejected for roles so many times myself, but what always helped me was simply not giving up. All of my managers have been women. People often imagine career growth as a straight ladder, but in fact, it is more like a wild roller coaster.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the third episode of our Technically Her podcast. It is delivered to you by Semrush, an international tech company. Our products help marketers all over the world to rank better on search and get ahead of their competition. This podcast is created for everyone, but specifically for women who are perhaps scared to take a leap and pursue a career in tech. Well, you may face assumptions, stereotypes, fears, and we are here to break them. We are here to inspire you to take that leap. Our own Women in Tech, our SEMrush colleagues, will share their life and career stories over here to show you that the limits, if any, are only the ones we put on ourselves. My name is Yana, and I'm your host. Thank you for tuning in. Our today's guest, Aleksandra Ratushniak, is a product owner who paved her way to this role gradually, starting from customer success. And actually, that's not all. Alexandra is also an avid advocate for women rights, active member of our employee resource groups, a mentor, and even a lecturer, a teacher of one of our DI workshops. Alexandra, welcome.
Hi, Yana. Hi, everyone. Wow, that was quite an introduction. Thank you.
I think you are a person in the right place here, truly. I'm super excited to have you as a guest and to chat to you not only about your career growth, but also all things DI and all things women rights and women career in tech specifically, which is exactly the topic of our podcast. But to start with, of course, I cannot avoid the question about how you got where you are. So our last episode's podcast, Mira, also started in customer success. And she's also a product person now. She's a head of product. So I may generalize here a little bit, but I see a lot of inspiring career stories coming from those who embark on their journey in CS. We some time ago we even had a series of posts about horizontal growth at Semrush, where most of colleagues actually enter the company as a support specialist and then grow to product, marketing, you name it. So why do you think it's this way?
Yeah, Mira actually worked with her together in one team. She's amazing. Why customer support? Well, I think it just gives you a really broad perspective on product, on audience, and the client pain points. No one understands the customers as good as customer support. So that's why so many former CS professionals they go on to become great product owners and project managers. Back in the day, we even had internships in customer support where people from other departments like product or marketing could experience the role firsthand. They could handle their client cases. We teach them how to make the demos so they can interact with clients. And it was really a valuable experience to try yourself as CS. Also, I think that working in sales builds strong communication and problem solving skills, which are essential in growth in every career. So, in the end of the day, it's all about your soft skills, and they're the most important right now in the market. So,
Correct.
going
Yeah.
going back to your question, I don't necessarily think that CS people are more eager to grow than others. It's just customer support is a great entry point into IT for people coming from non technical backgrounds like language studies or some other fields.
And as far as I know, that was your case as well, right? Because I know that you studied philology and Japanese. If I'm not mistaken, we'll get to it. But one of the first jobs I remember you mentioned was creating content for a company in the space sector. So could you share more about that?
Yeah, sure. That was actually my first job out of university. And as you know, like companies don't generally hire freshmen without experience. So I was struggling to land on a job and accepted the first offer I got. So it was in some random sector for me. And it was a company that produced microscopes, telescopes, and other optics. So their website blog was related to these topics. I wasn't just managing content, I was like a general marketing specialist. So I was doing all the marketing work from SMM to content to affiliate management. So yeah, it was a good start, but I soon moved to other company.
But I assume you didn't use your Japanese skills there, right? You were just writing content in one language, not translating.
Yes, yes, in English mostly.
hmm Because from the space industry, yes, you moved to tech, and from writing blogs with SEO to a company who creates a whole product dedicated to it. So it's quite interesting development. Semrush, you finally found the way to apply your language because you started as a customer support specialist with Japanese language. But was it your first job with Japanese, or did you actually want to work in Japanese, or it was more of a passion during your student time, during university times, and that you kind of like wanted to develop it into hobby?
That was actually my first job with Japanese, and
Uh-huh.
I picked it deliberately. So I did Oriental Studies, Japanese philology as a major in university, and also lived and studied in Japan for a while. So I've spent tons of time studying the language, so I thought it was a shame that I didn't use it at work. And at that time, I already knew about SEMrush. It was one of the best IT companies in my city, and we were using SEMrush product for SEO. So once I just saw there is a job vacancy with Japanese language in support, so I applied immediately and I got the job. So it was a match made in heaven.
But was it hard to find job with Japanese in general? I'm just curious because I guess it has to be very, very specific, or it has to be for a Japanese company, perhaps.
Yes, yes, it's very hard. So mostly you'd have to work for a Japanese company, and usually it's an on-site work in some factory, like car factory,
hmm
where you're translating things. So finding this such job which is IT and also Japanese, it's very rare. It was a
Yeah.
great opportunity.
I can imagine, but I think what I found even more fascinating that in your 6 years, 6+ years at Semrush, you've also developed into an advocate for human rights, women rights specifically, and you are actively participating in all our diversity, equity, inclusion projects, and it's all an extracurricular activity for you. So it's not all directly linked to your job. And I guess our listeners deserve to know that we took over some of the ERGs and you were one of the mentors for the DI education program. I said it in my introduction. So, what was your main drive here? Is it some kind of a personal interest or maybe desire to keep things moving or improve the experience?
I'd say both. So for me, DI work is really my happy place. So my main job is in payment solutions, which is all about numbers, technical things, and money. So I really need sometimes something that is people oriented and could make a difference. So DI community in Semrush is incredibly supportive. And accepting it truly feels like a safe space for me and I think for
Mhm.
everyone who joins. So, working alongside such passionate, kind people gives me so much energy and motivation to keep going. Uh, about DI, for me personally, it's more about being accepted, respected, and valued exactly as you are. So, I genuinely want everyone at SEMrush, all my colleagues, to feel that way, that no one faces unfair judgment or bias.
Yeah.
And yes, my special focus is on women rights. That's an area that is very close to my heart. And women are still very underrepresented in IT and STEM, and many still continue to face unequal treatment and even
Mhm.
harassment in the workplace.
Mhm.
So what I really love about Semrush, it's the first company, the first place where I felt completely safe as a woman. So no one ever harassed me, and that's sadly not something I could say about my previous jobs. We're talking about career growth here, and
Mhm.
it's not possible to grow in the environment where you do not feel safe, like very
Mhm.
basic safety, you don't have it. Luckily, in SEMrush, we have official policies and regulations like code of conduct that prevents such situations. So
Mhm.
all women are protected here and feel safe. That's a great ground for growth and development. So that's what I'm really grateful for.
I also believe that you maybe face some other misconceptions about women professionals, perhaps yourself personally, perhaps shared by other colleagues within the DI community at SEMrush. So if there's if there are, if there is one misconception that you feel especially strongly about and would like to debunk, what would it be?
Hmm. There are plenty of biases against women, both at work and outside of work, and it's shocking that we live in 21st century and still we have these misconceptions. I guess my favorite one is that women do not understand the technical side of things, especially because we're working in IT here.
Yeah.
Even now, when I join a new team, I often have to prove that it simply isn't true.
Mhm.
In general, in product and development, there are still more men than women. For example,
Mhm.
in my current team, I'm the only woman among 5 men. So, well, I have fantastic team. They're very supportive, and my team, they're advocates for women rights. So I feel really safe and comfortable with them. But at the beginning, I still felt I had to put in triple effort and make sure I understood every small detail before my input started to be recognized.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Again, that's what we're talking about here, that so many women just face certain fears to start a career in tech because of that, because they feel the need to prove themselves. And as you mentioned, this is one of the favorite misconceptions, right? Just because it's so common. It's still very common. And well, because you have data as well, and you operate as a mentor of women rights and DI community. I was curious, what is this gap between women and men embarking on a technical path? Maybe you have some data, maybe you have some like updated stats, because it's actually, yeah, still one of the main reasons why many women are discouraged to, start a career in tech.
Yeah, sure. I still think that women in STEM and IT are underrepresented, and the stats actually show it. From one of our Women in Tech events here, uh, the study found out that only 19% of information and communication technology specialists are women, and only one third of STEM graduates are women.
I believe that you had some people on your career path, maybe mentors, maybe your peers or managers that you learned from. Are there some role models, like women role models among these people? And if these are SEMrush colleagues, even better. I would love to hear if there's maybe some piece of advice that you got from them, or maybe something that you applied for your own career growth.
That's my favorite question. I think it's really important to speak about women role models and to say it out loud. We need to know our heroes. So my journey in Semrush was actually quite unique because I've never had a man manager. All of my managers have been women,
Wow.
and each of them played a significant role in my career and where I am today. So my first manager, Anastasia, she was the one who gave me the chance to try myself as a project manager. I was a CS specialist back then, and she also became my mentor on the path. So I was learning so much from her. It's not just about the job, but about communication, about company processes, about how to navigate the challenges. So in the beginning, when I had to send some important communication, let's say for the whole company, I was always asking for her advice. I would send her a message. She would give me feedback, edit something, and um, it would look better. So I sent that version, and I even searched through her messages in Slack to see how she handled certain situations. So she was truly my role model. And her own story is very inspiring. She started in CS herself, then she became a head of unit and later moved to strategic growth department, working with mergers and acquisitions. So Anastasia is a great example of woman leader who combines passion, expertise, and the ability to get things done. She's truly amazing. Another notable figure in my career journey is my other manager, Julia, who was the head of product at the time. She's no longer with the company, but I really cherish our time together. When I joined the team, I was already a more experienced project manager, so our relationship was more like partnership. But I still admire most about her is her kindness and her truly people-oriented approach in the leadership. That's what I've learned from her. Uh, Another amazing woman is my current manager, Daria. Yes, there are a lot.
That is inspiring that you have so many amazing women around you.
I do, yes. Daria used to be my colleague. We were both product owners, and she was recently promoted to the head of product. And she's my true battle buddy. We've been through so many challenges and impossible projects together. Now that she's my manager, I often go to her for advice. She's like a rational voice in my head. She has this amazing ability to stay calm, stay the emotions aside, and find the most effective way to solve a problem. That's what I admire about her. And the last, but definitely not the least, is my dear colleague and true friend, Anna. We actually started together in customer support and we followed identical paths from customer support to project manager to product owner. And she's been my support system for years. I deeply admire her journey, and it was so good to have someone who you could share your feelings with, your struggles with, and who would understand you, who goes through the same journey.
You know, I find two things very interesting. First of all, that like 50% of the women you mentioned did start in customer support as well. And now they're in the product owner, head of product roles. It's fantastic. It's just, again, back to the point how eager the customer support people are to grow horizontally, to change, to develop into the product role. And secondly, is that you mentioned about each of these women, how they taught you or like developed some certain soft skills in you. So we're coming back again to the beginning of our conversation when we were talking that after all, it's all about soft skills. It's all about like communication. It's all about people driven approach. And it's, yeah. So basically you can learn tech skills for sure. But or hard skills in general, but soft skills is something that you really need to develop and you really need to want to develop
Mhm.
them.
Indeed, indeed, yeah. I've been about 10 years in IT, and I think I have two major advice. So the first one is fight like a girl. Don't use brute force. Don't try to copy male behavior or mirror their leadership style because you won't win by trying to be someone that you're not. Instead, you need to embrace your own strengths and lead in your own way. Use your soft power, your empathy, your communication skills, emotional intelligence, and intuition. That's a great ability to listen and connect with others. So these are incredible advantages. And soft leadership can build trust and inspire collaboration. So it's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about making others feel heard. So this is something that women are naturally great at, and just use this to your advantage. You are great already. And second advice is don't give up. Even if you fail at first, don't get discouraged. Just keep going. People often imagine career growth as a straight ladder, but In fact, it is more like a wild roller coaster.
Mhm.
So I can guarantee that every woman who experienced career growth will tell you that she had more failures than wins along the way. I've been rejected for roles so many times myself, but what always helped me was simply not giving up. So allow yourself a day or two to feel bad, eat some ice cream, watch some 90s comedy or your favorite TV show, recharge, and then pull yourself together and try again. So in the end, persistence is the only key that opens every door.
Mhm. Never give up and fight like a girl. This was advice from Aleksandra Ratushniak, who was our guest today. Aleksandra, thank you so much for this inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for all your insights. And I believe that our conversation, our chat today was really truly inspiring and maybe will serve as a kick, as a magic kick, for some listeners out there who are still doubting themselves.
Thank you so much, Yana and Semrush, for having me. And to all the listeners, bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to tune in the next episode.